Hello everyone and welcome back to 9 in 9. We are on to season 5. We are now the manager of Sheffield United. We will go through what happened to get us to this point in a short while. Don't forget, if you enjoy this content, please leave a like on the video. Subscribe to the channel if you haven't done so already. Don't forget to click that notification bell to know when a new video goes up on the channel. And also don't forget to leave me a comment if you've got anything to say. Let's see what happened to get us to this point. And it seems to be that October is very much sacking season on Football Manager. So Huddersfield got rid of their manager. Preston got rid of John Terry. Leeds United dispensed with Felipe Inzaghi. It was one I was looking at. It was very much heart against head on that one. Plumbing for Sheffield United. And Queen's Park Rangers got rid of Chris Wilder, another former Sheffield United manager. So now I'm going to explain to you the reasoning behind going to Sheffield United rather than Leeds United. Obviously, they were both managed by Neil Warnock in his career. It is basically down to the squad. Sheffield United is much better. We'll see that in a second. Obviously, they've still got the likes of Dan James, Leeds, Jack Harrison, Tom Davies is coming from Everton, Junior Thurpo. They just don't seem to have the numbers. If you get a few injuries, it's a very small squad in comparison. So maybe Leeds is something to do later down the line. But let's take a look at Sheffield United. And you can see straight away that the Sheffield United squad is a lot bigger than the Leeds one. There is a lot more variety within it. It allows me to play 5 at the back, which has been a very, very good formation in the last 2 clubs we've had. Obviously, Jose Sarr is here from Wolverhampton Wanderers. Issa Diop from West Ham. Darnell Furlong, who I had at West Brom way back when now. Harry Winks, obviously a Tottenham player. Tommy Doyle, the 3rd time we've connected with Tommy Doyle. Solly March is a great player. Iosi Perez is a great player. Ryan Brewster is the man up front for them. Josh Sargent is a player that I really like the look of him in the Norwich team in real life. So yeah, there are so many good players in this team. It was far too good to turn down. Let's take a look at some of the key ones. And we'll start with Ryan Brewster, who's been with Sheffield United since 2020. 29 goals in 145 appearances. We're going to need to get that up first and foremost. Can play as a striker, can play wide. So we do have the option to move him around if we need to. Obviously, we've had some great strikers through this series so far. Dominic Solanke, Sam Surridge, Callum Grant. Will Ryan Brewster be the next one off the rack? Now, I mentioned Solly March earlier on. Has the capability to play as a wing-back, so that's a good thing for him. 31 years old now. Obviously, we are in 2025. That is expected. Only 13 goals in 88 appearances for Sheffield United. They have had a bit of a struggle, it would seem, in the last 18 months or so. Obviously, culminating in that relegation from the Premier League. Good crossing, good dribbling, good acceleration. Pace is still there for 31. Looking forward to seeing what Solly can do. A player the Blades did bring in during the summer was Bruno Costa. So Brendan Rodgers did something right. Very, very good player. 3.5 star. Can play central midfield. Can play attacking midfield. So we do have the capability to play 4-2-3-1 if it is required. We'll take a look at the tactics in a bit. Like the look of this guy. Has become a very integral part already of this Sheffield United team. I suspect it's probably only going to grow. Now, we have promised the board that we will use the youngsters within the football club, and we will try to do that with Jay Doige. Obviously a regen or new gen, whichever way you want to say it. Potential to be a 5-star player. Currently at 3-star. Plays down that right-hand side. So again, it might lean towards 4-2-3-1. He can play in the middle behind the striker as well. It's something tactically we're going to have a look at. Had an alright start to the championship season, and hopefully he's going to be one for the future. And they had a very busy summer, Sheffield United. So Issa Diop came in from Leicester. Darnell Furlong came in from Burnley. Tommy Doyle came in as a free transfer. Kieran Dowell came in part exchange. Alexander Hill, not sure who he is, but I think he's a new gen, probably. Jose Sarr came into the football club. I mentioned Bruno Costa already. Josh Sargent came into the football club. Iosi Perez came in on loan. The big outgoing, £43 million for Reece Norrington Davis, going to a championship rival in Crystal Palace. Not ideal, but It's obviously something that they wanted to do at the time. We don't currently have a director of football. We'll sort that out to enable him to bring in some transfers within the January window. But I don't think there is an awful lot we need to do to the squad overall. Financially, Sheffield United are very, very stable. Extremely stable, I think is probably the word I would use. Rich is their financial status. £96 million to spend. The director of football is going to have fun with that in January. Plenty of headroom in the wage budget and the scouting budget too. It's all looking very good on the balance sheet. So we've had a look at the players. Let's take a look at what we might do tactically. So we've got the 5 at the back system. It's worked really well, as I mentioned, at the last 2 sides at Southampton and at Nottingham Forest. It even works a little bit at Coventry from time to time. Is it a system we're going to stick with? It will initially be. Their familiarity with it is not great, but they'll quickly get used to it, I think. There are players within this squad that have got the adaptability. Obviously, we'll use the wide centre-backs. We'll be using them quite nicely. Looking at the likes of Issa Diop, potentially Jack O'Connell. Samuel Gigot is another one that could potentially play that sort of, let's move out of defence and bring the ball forward. Yeah, so I'm very happy with that. Obviously, the Gegenpress once more, because I just want to put pressure on teams. They have the capability to do it, these players. So yeah, that's what we're going to go with. And it's very easy to see the reason why Brendan Rodgers was dispensed with. Too many draws. Far too many draws. The only win of the season coming after he'd left the football club. Ouch. A draw with QPR, defeat to Swansea, draw with Ipswich, draw with Hull, draw with Charlton, draw with Blackpool, draw with Blackburn, draw with Coventry, defeats to Stoke, Middlesbrough and to Rochdale. That was the big one that cost him his job. Draw with Leeds, that win over Millwall, and that draw with Barnsley last time out. They were doing alright in the Carabao Cup though, through to the 4th round of that, where we'll take on Burnley. In the Championship, it's better than what we were with Nottingham Forest. Let's just put that out there. 12 points from the 14 games so far. 9 draws. Wow, that is a fair amount of draws. Obviously, QPR just in front of us on 13. Sunderland, our next opponents, are 3 points in front of that. Leeds just 4 points in front of them. So the gap to the top 6 is currently 12 points. So it's not the gap that we had with Nottingham Forest. It's still a sizable gap, still 4 wins, but it is much, much smaller than we had when we were at the City Ground, and something that I think we can turn around fairly swiftly. And we haven't got to wait long for our first taste of action as a Blade. We travel to the Stadium of Light next time around, where we'll take on Sunderland. A big game down the bottom of the table for us as we look to climb the Championship table. So we're back in the saddle once again, taking charge of an old friend in Sheffield United. Obviously, Blades of Glory was one of my favourite series I've done whilst I've been making Football Manager content. I am delighted to be a Blade again. So hopefully we can lift them back into the Premier League. We have the capability. We have the squad that can do it. Let's get down to business, shall we? So Sunderland next time around for you. Don't forget, if you enjoy this content, to please leave a like on the video. Subscribe to the channel if you haven't done so already. Don't forget to leave me a comment if you've got anything to say on today's video. And I will see you next time. Thanks for watching. Goodbye.